Welcome to Get Serious. On this episode, wanted to share some really cool updates about a new AI tool that was shared with us late last week in Callan's A2A course. So one of the members suggested this email related AI called Serif. That's Serif AI. So I'd like one of the holy grails, which tons of companies have worked on, just like questionable solutions, stuff that doesn't work that well, is how do you just auto draft emails that reliably fit your tone and don't just make up incorrect information. We have to do a whole bunch of edits. So that this is something that since AI first came out a few years ago, like just been waiting. When are we going to be able to get solid email drafting? And the results so far have just been more questionable. I used Fixer AI. Maybe they've gotten better. I tried it earlier this year. I wasn't that impressed. Didn't fit my tone that well. I know Google and Gemini, they're trying to do more. I know they still have like snippets, or you can draft an email and then ask it to rewrite it. That's just too slow. Like I need something that's like readily drafted, maintains good templated replies, so that you can do minimal edits if at all, and then just hit send, or reliably have your assistant send out emails on your behalf. So this other individual had mentioned Serif. I was like, yeah, this thing is just working great. Everybody I recommend it to is just saying it's so solid. Naturally, I was skeptical. So just been burned with these before, and I had been using Notion Mail more recently, which is just a skin on top of Gmail, similar to how Superhuman works. So it's just like a sleeker, sexier product. There's a bunch of keyboard macros that can just make it a bit faster to get through email. But the overall UI still needed some work, and it doesn't like necessarily integrate with other add-ons like Serif and so forth. So, if you're using Notion Mail, it's not just going to auto it can't draft replies while you're in Notion Mails, because it only works through Gmail. So then you kind of have to choose. And I really liked from Notion Mail where it would just auto filter via AI emails that are coming in and kind of learn on the go. But it's like not that crazy of a feature, and technology changes all the time. So sometimes the switching cost is worth it. Hadn't been using Notion Mail for that long, maybe a couple months. But then Serif came along, and there was a reply to, or a prepped reply when I was logging in today. Somebody had sent over a response to my email newsletter, and they were asking about a pretty intricate multi-parcel purchase in an area of the country that some tech giants were coming in, and he's asking like, how do I approach this? And the auto draft for this email it wasn't perfect, but it had so many core components of how I reply to emails, just like, I don't know, the no BS, a bit more fragmented sentences. It even called out, hey, here's, land diligence, I can review that, or you can go offline. Like, it hit the tone correctly, and it provided a numbered list suggestion on how to consider pricing the parcels that are coming within this like 40 plus parcel purchase, how to discount them appropriately. So it looks like it integrated with another LLM model, maybe ChatGPT. I don't know exactly what's on the back end, but it was simultaneously providing research externally on answering the user's questions for something that has never been within my email database. Like, I've never answered a question like that. And honestly, I would have had to go like think about it or research on my own to get the numbers that were being proposed there. It could have just been hallucinating, but it made sense to me. The numbers, when I looked at it, all the rationale made sense. And at the same time, it was pulling in my tone and flow for the actual email setup. So I still had to change a handful of things, but overall, like that's like a pretty complex email to answer. And I'd only been installing this Seraph AI for like a few days. Usually these AI systems get better over time. So like this is something here because our current setup is that we had made a Claude project that just has a ton of templates and overall tone for like my brand and the way I go about emails, so then I can just offload it to a VA or anybody else who joins in the business. But you have to kind of go back and forth. It's go back into Claude. Okay, do I need to reformat here? Grab the right template, then come back in. If we could do this via Seraph, that becomes a lot more powerful and just even that much faster. And so I was looking on their like how is Seraph orienting all this data, and so you can actually see within their admin panel is they do an initial scan of your full email, and then they basically create Claude projects associated with different topics associated with your particular email and the various types of responses that you give. And then it has, similar to Claude as well too, or custom GPTs, is a whole bunch of project knowledge. So it just kind of correlates, okay, here's how this business operates and background knowledge it can pull from. And very interestingly, like all of this, it's like readily editable too. It looks like it's built even within Notion, to where you can just indicate and you can see precisely the flow patterns of how Seraph decides on how to answer and like default responses. So not all of them are perfect, and you can adjust them as needed. It would be great. I'm not sure if it will do that, to just auto update and learn over time. That would be ideal. I think it's a fairly new product. You might have to just manually update at the moment. Like for instance, it'd have this flow of like, okay, a deal is coming in, then it asks, okay, do you want to show up on Land Daily Diligence? And now it only defaults to like Thursday. Land Daily Diligence didn't pick up that it's twice a week. So like to me, I would want to go back to the instructions and have the backend LLM, or yeah, it must be running on a backend LLM, is determine, okay, is Monday or Thursday closer for whenever this email is being responded to? And depending on that, you answer, do you want to have this deal reviewed on Monday's Facebook Live session versus Thursday? So then you'd have two different versions of copy. But I'm not all the time that certain on how to like orient prompts and custom instructions within LLM models. So instead, I would just take that chunk that is within Seraph's instructions. I would go back to Claude, or you could do ChatGPT, it doesn't matter. And then I'd say, okay, like I just described there, I want there to be two different responses depending on the day of the week for recommending Land Daily Diligence sessions. How would I update these instructions? And can you prep it in a format that fits into Seraph AI? And then I can just go back and forth and copy and edit. So there's going to be another lift there, but so far I'm very, very impressed with this tool, because I think out of everything, I mean, we'll see what Gemini comes out with, like Google, if they have just a fully integrated auto draft. I mean, they have like the most infrastructure, since it's just, they run Gmail, that they could probably do this the best if they really take a serious stab at it. Which seems like they're heading in that direction, because like who wouldn't want auto drafted emails? I know a lot of folks, they might even have like Zapier type replies, and you can even build in like LLM backend within Zapier to adjust your responses. But Seraph, it seems you're even able to skip all those steps, where it's just all within one platform. You don't need to rely on Zaps coming back in and filtering accordingly. And that's the other thing about Seraph too, is it will adjust, okay, which emails are needed for your attention, different filters. So you get a lot of those key features that Notion Mail did, just in a little bit different format. So I just think this is a really cool setup. I know us as entrepreneurs, we're always looking for those extra bits of efficiency. How can you just auto draft? Like who really enjoys just like flowing through just email day after day? To be able to automate email a lot more is just, it's like, it's a holy grail of business. So I'm always trying to pay attention to what's going on in that arena. And this one is pretty cool and pretty cheap too. $20 a month for powerful solution. We might do the higher $50 a month because there's like limits on total amount of emails that you can do, and if you link, you can link multiple email accounts into it, so without having to pay for multiple seats. So it's pretty interesting from that setup. Pretty powerful tool. So I would recommend checking it out if you think you'd make your business more efficient. With that, seriousland.capital for any of your funding needs. A lot more deals that have come in over the weekend and even today. Land Daily Diligence, as I was just mentioning, Mondays and Thursdays, obviously. And landpricer.ai for the most reliable land pricing tool on the market. We're just getting our final sprint planned out today. I'm going to have some more updates on that here shortly. With that, subscribe and share. Take care, everybody. Bye.